Hey kids, we got another live video here today for ya. So we are working with our gal Kaya one more time. We got, I'll admit, I got inspiration off Pinterest for this piece. I love the pose. Like the pose of the figure was just so striking. So we're kind of doing something a little different today. So we're getting zazzy. I already posted the individual sketches of this little gal from when I did the initial sketch to the first color, the whole coloration, full color. Now you guys get the whole shebang. So we're going to go in and we're going to try to render her is what we're going to do. So let's go to the skin first. Let's get her skin all good and colored in. Or not colored in, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to try my best to talk a little bit about her today. I'm really bad at talking like stories about her, or just like, I don't know, my fanfics without messing up. So we're gonna give it a whirl. So her people live in the land of Crystal, which is a place that I made up for the fanfic. Now, you gotta remember the story behind her takes inspiration from a lot of places. It takes inspiration from Atlantis, it takes inspiration from Avatar, it takes inspiration from Naruto, it takes inspiration from a lot of different things. So, hate me if you want, but it's my fan story. It's just for me, really. It's for nobody else. It's just something that I came up with as a teenager, and I'm just rolling with it. So her people worship this crystal that has a little bit of sentience to it. No one quite understands what it is. She was chosen as a member of the royal family to house said crystal once there was news that the Akatsuki was going to try to come after it. So that's where she ends up getting all of her dope ass tattoos, is from being the host of this crystal. Which I didn't actually think about how I want to do her tattoos in this one just yet. I don't know. So her and her aunt. Okay, hold on. This is why I'm bad at explaining this. The Akatsuki end up penetrating her city and tried to take the crystal, but they couldn't because the crystal wasn't a human and they weren't aware of that. My gal Kaya here was able to escape with only her aunt. Her aunt was a close friend of Tsunade, so that's where they got the idea to go to the Hidden Leaf Village. It's kind of like a safe haven, if you will. Thank you. And she kind of was paired off as like a spare, really, to go with a team if there was need, like, blah, 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 blah. If there was necessary need for a fourth team member, that is where she would come in at a lot of times. So sometimes she would get to help out Naruto and them, sometimes she would help out Neji and them, sometimes she would help out Shino and them. Just kind of depended on whatever the mission was, what it required. Other than that, she had a lot of downtime in the village, just kind of as a refugee, because that's really what they were kind of considered, was refugees when they first showed up. When the Chunin exams came around, though, that is where her and Shino kind of got their little spark going. So she actually was a test in the tuning exams, for at least in my story. So when they're all in the arena and they're paired off against each other, they all pair off until the very end, and the winners battle her. So at the end, there was only 3 individuals that took her on. Sheena was one of them. The only thing that he had mentioned was that he felt his bugs were precious. Or she remembered him mentioning something about his bugs being precious in an earlier battle, so she tried her darndest not to hurt any of them. In fact, she made it a challenge for herself, and she ended up telling him, she's like, I will not use this method of bending because there is a chance it will hurt your bugs, and I'm not going to do that. So she made it a challenge to herself to defeat Shino without the use of certain types of bending, which for her was just kind of a game, really. She was just kind of toying with him because she knew she could kick his ass, because she's my girl. She is my girl. So she ends up losing. She wins. No one actually gets to beat her, which is kind of funny because she just kicks everyone's fucking ass, and it's fantastic. I want some texture to the cloak. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But her culture in her village tends to be pretty stern with a lot of things. For example, if they are taken down mid-battle, they are to kind of, for lack of better words, kind of like self-punishment. To best describe it, they are to isolate themselves and practice until they feel that they are worthy again of battle, basically. So, Kaiya goes out on a mission with Shino and their team, Hinata and Kiba. She ends up, basically they all end up in an ambush. And Hinata gets knocked out, Kiba gets knocked out, Shino gets knocked out. The only one that's left is Kaiya. Kaiya's fighting her best. Kaiya accidentally gets her crystal snagged, and it gets damaged. And she basically ends up falling in battle. Their mission failed. And she self-isolated until she felt that she was ready to go back out again. And it freaked everyone out because normally she's really outgoing, and then all of a sudden she's just vanished and hiding to herself. So it's like, what's going on? I don't know if I'm doing a terrible job at explaining this or if I'm actually doing a decent job at explaining this. It's been a while since I've talked about her, like, in depth. To be like, oh, hey, this girl, this chica bonita. So don't give me too much hate. I've got friggin' dirty little secrets stuck in my head by All American Rejects. Totally forgot about her little shoesies. Completely forgot. Got those little shoes down there. I'm not the best with feet or with hands, so don't hate me too much. I'm not the best. Okay. So I get all of my clipping layers flattened. That way I can keep track of everything a little bit better. All the layers are complete. So it just makes it a little bit simpler on me to kind of get everything in order. Okay. Okay. Now it is time for her tattoos. So I always do her tattoos different. I never have a set way of how I do her tattoos. I just kind of go in and I just go crazy with it. Okay. My secret to making them glow is a good old Gaussian blur. I like to duplicate that blur just to make it a little bit brighter. And I blur just a tiny bit more just to get rid of the harshness. But we are going to go in with a watercolor brush because I like the detail that we've added to this before, so we're going to keep with it. Beautiful. Well, it's always good to get rid of that layer, because then you can see what boo-boos you've done, like me. No painting is complete without its fair share of boo-boos. Alright, that's better. Actually, I totally forgot. She isn't even wearing her crystal. Alright, so we're gonna make the crystal here. We're gonna outline it with a little bit maybe you inhaled that food. Can't decide what I want to do for her for a background. I don't know if I want to do. I don't know. I don't know, kids. We're gonna give her a platform, something to stand on. I need to get some highlight on her clothes from tattoos. Just a little bit. Same with this one. Okay, we are still recording. My phone storage is really finicky, so sometimes it likes to just stop recording at just random intervals. So it's like, oh, okay, thanks. It's not using you or anything. Excuse me. Okay, we're just gonna get some watercolor brushes and we're just gonna go to town on this ground right here. some vertical symmetry in the background. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make it a nice dark blue. And yeah, I don't need that. What I need, there we go, now I can see the line. I want this to be thick. Actually, I lied. I don't want to do that. I just want to do something simple with this background, but nothing too crazy at the same time. If you catch my drift, you know, just like a little something, something. I'm gonna do something a little zazzy. Oops, not that. We're gonna take all of her. We're gonna clone her. We're gonna try to get this shade as best as we can. Cooking mask. That's what I want. I want her to have a glow to her. Just a little bit of a glow. That Mama likes. Mama likes that a lot. We are putting our seal of approval on that bad boy. Right, a nice angled version of my girl Kaiya. I love how this turned out. I'm not the best with drawing people, so pardon me if my shapes are a little wonky. I used to be really good at drawing people back in high school, and I am kicking my ass that I stopped drawing because I probably could be so much farther along by now. But hey, I digress. So I hope you guys enjoy. We'll probably post some more videos later today, and I will see you next time. Peace.